Hi, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the Startup Saturday. This is the Lumiere Startup Saturday, episode 6 of season 2, and I'm delighted to welcome Chatty, Girija, and Anu Rao, our guests, as founders of Salt for Cooking, capital SALT. It's not an acronym, so we'll ask them more about what is salt and why salt. Welcome again.
Thank you so much, Deepa, for having us over.
Thank you.
So when did salt happen?
Salt started somewhere around COVID, like the big change makers happened during COVID. And it started with a very small story that happened at home. It happened at Anu's home. And I think she's the best person to animate and act and narrate that story. So I'll give it to her.
So this is during the lockdown, or just around the lockdown time, the COVID time, and that was when TikTok was very big, and everybody who was onto TikTok, and I personally was a cringe content creator for my friends because I
Oh,
love the sense of humor in TikTok. And so while I was kind of scrolling TikTok, and my home cook, so she looked and she said, "Why don't you also put content?" I mean, I was the observer, right? I solely consume the content. And she said, "Why don't you put some content?" And I was like, "Yeah, but it's I don't know if I can do it." She says, "No, no, it's actually very easy, you know." And then she immediately pulled out her phone and she showed me how content is immediately put online. And she showed me pictures of her two kids dancing to some video. I mean, a video of her two kids
okay.
dancing, and said how easy it is that it's right there on TikTok instantly. So I turned around and I just asked her that, I said, "Why don't you put yours?" And she said, I said, "But why don't you put your cooking videos when you cook so well? So put your cooking videos." So her instant reaction was her eyes just lit up. And she said, "Ah, like milega na babi." That was a aha moment. So that's when we felt that there are so many people. She cooks for a living, right? But even she craves that appreciation. She wants somebody to like her food, to see it, enjoy it, like it, give her that little bit of appreciation. So that is how it started. And I was like, immediately called up Chatty and said, "I think we really have a really good idea here. And this is something that
Jen.
everybody who makes food can relate to. Because food is something that, irrespective of how good, like even when I'm cooking, if it's irrespective of how good it is, who knows about it other than my family or the friends I have over for lunch or dinner or something? Nobody, right? This can be a platform where one can say, "Okay, this is my talent. I may not be able to sing and dance like a whole bunch of people, but cooking is a talent." I mean, every morsel of food you put in your mouth, when it is tasty, it is like talent that has achieved its goal, right? So here was a opportunity, a platform to say we should acknowledge and recognize food creation or cooking as a talent, and empower people who get into this. It can be anyone from someone like me who likes to make food occasionally or only for friends or during parties, to somebody who's cooking day in day out, and even their small tips, tricks, what they do different from anybody else, makes a huge difference in the creation of food. So
So today,
that's
from
how
a
it's born.
space to express, you have social media, you
Yeah.
have Reels, you have Facebook, and you already have a lot of people who are putting up their cooking videos on these channels, right? So why start from scratch and build an app? That was for me uh, something that I was very curious to know more about from both of you.
Okay, so it is a combination of whole lot of things that you see on social media. Yes, you have pictures, you have the long format videos, you have the TikTok kind of videos, which also has cooking, and you have the Instagram reels too. So what we did, we took all of these and took the best of it, the cream of it, and said that if TikTok is talking about short content format, and which is what is getting appreciated, and there are Me Too's happening on it, and we are talking about food, we are talking about cooking, then why not create a dedicated platform for it? See, like, people ask us the same question, Deepa, saying that, oh, there is YouTube. Why would someone want to come to you? Yes, there is YouTube, and we are not saying we are competing with YouTube, but we are inspired by YouTube. By saying that once we go to YouTube, you know how our attention span is. You go there to check one recipe, you see everything else, and then much later you remember, oh yeah, I actually came to this. So we said, okay, let's create it something which is specific to this and create it in a short video format and also make it very inclusive about saying that it's not meant for master chefs. It's meant
Not
for
meant for.
master chefs. You don't need to be a pro. It is your everyday cooking. Just put it up over there. You're anyway doing it. Just put it up over there and get appreciated. So if you're really serious about cooking and you want something, and how many of us we wake up in the mornings and then we look what aaj kya banao? It all starts with that. Although you know what you are going to be eating or what you're going to be cooking for your family. So it's something that we want it to be your second nature. The first thing we look at is the alarm. Okay, it's the third nature. Next is the WhatsApp good morning messages. And third is we want it to be salt for cooking. Okay, yeah, this is a quick recipe. I just, in 2 minutes, I know how to make it and I put it up over there. It may not be exactly the way you want it, but at least you get inspired by it. So that was the whole idea of saying to create something which is very dedicated to cooking and food.
So how did you go about this part where you said now we have an idea, Anu and Chatty, to say now we're going to go and build an app. So how long was that, and how did you choose who's building your app? How are you doing it? Who's your target group? Did you have a business plan? So I was curious about making a business of salt.
Um,
So, okay,
yes.
both of us, it was the first time we were in this space, right? I
Ah,
mean, it was everybody gets very bright ideas, okay, but
correct.
most ideas go to the grave because nobody
Yeah,
executes them, right?
Yeah.
So
correct.
here was this, like, okay, we are a bunch of pushing 50 and just over 50 women. We've had successful lives, successful careers, and there is nothing that we really can't do, right? Everything, when you break it down to simple logic, is doable. It's another thing that you may have to learn new skills, which again is challenging, right? And it's good, you have something new to learn. So when we said, okay, let's create an app that is dedicated for cooking, what does it entail? Okay. Okay, so it entails a certain amount of coding, it entails a certain amount of aggregating videos from users, it entails storage capacity. Then it also needs to be a viable business
Yeah.
proposition, right? Okay, so we've worked in corporates, so we've had our businesses, so we understand what final profitability is and why it's important to sustain anything, any idea. So we actually had two business advisors. We hired two business advisors who put it all down for us, took us actually hand held
Yeah.
us towards the entire process of seeing it from a business angle.
Okay.
Okay. So this is not a non-profit venture, right? This is at the
Okay.
end of the day, it has to create investor value.
Yes.
Only then does any business become sustainable and there is an opportunity for it to grow,
Correct.
right? It has to grow beyond the founders. It has to grow beyond the initial idea. It has to magnify itself at some point, and that works only with commerce when commerce is well integrated in it. So we had business advisors who took us through the entire process of understanding how this business can be monetized, right? Appreciation is one thing, monetizing is another, right? Where can the business be monetized? What are the different vertical streams that can be? I mean, this was not something that they said and
Yeah.
we absorbed. They ensured that it came from
Us,
us,
yeah.
right? So that was the kind of process that was in, that we went through, where we went through an entire thing. Okay, what else can we do with this? How can this be beneficial to a user as well as derive value for the business. So that's how we came up with a complete growth path for the business starting from day zero. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the time required to build an app? What are the what do you call what's the right
Who
word?
are the people that we require to build the app? And I think what also happened along the way was there were other logistics that we had to handle, which we had to do it all by ourselves. Start by the brand name. Our business advisors, of course, helped us with that. Then there were things like registering the company, the bank accounts, all of those things also were there. See, we've done a lot of projects individually in our lives, and but something we know now we are setting up something really big. So there were bigger issues to be dealt with. So we had those kind of things happening, and
Compliances,
compliances,
certifications.
certifications, what all that we require, which we've never heard. We've read somewhere, but we've never done it for ourselves. So those kind of things were there. And we also somewhere knew along the way it is not as easy as it seems. Like you just appoint someone, create an app, you make the app, you put it up on Play Store or an iOS, you're going to be the next big thing. So we had to take few steps back, and more importantly, where is the money coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Who
Okay.
is give us this initial money? Passion is fine, great, but profit, yes, at the end. But you have to walk the talk, and where's the money going to come from? So that's when we had to ask ourselves some hard questions, knowing what we were doing at that point of time in our individual careers, and knowing that it was a COVID period too.
Yeah.
So obviously, there were layers one after the other. And
Yes.
yeah, and like as she said, that we took steps. It was all baby steps. Who's going to do what? At when?
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to
Okay.
be focusing? Time management was very important. How
Yeah.
much are we going to be doing at this point of time? Okay. And
Wonderful.
yes, having said that, when we did the investor pitches too, everyone loved the idea, Deepa. There's no two ways about it. And we also felt very good. We were just doing pitches after the other. But at the end of the day, there were these typical terminologies and jargons that came to us. What is your skin in the game? Where is the mobile app? Okay. So again, we had to
What's
come
the
back. What's
traction?
the traction? Where is the scalability? Or which, yes, we knew we have to reach there, but we didn't know it was going to come to us that soon.
So typically, like any fresh founder, you're like very high on your
Correct,
idea,
yes.
right? Very high on your idea. Oh my God, this is going to be like really big. What we've learned in the process is how to break it down to
Uh-huh.
small, achievable goals. That is one.
Mm.
Second is okay. So there is one way of doing, achieving a particular goal, but how can you break that further and take mini steps?
Yeah.
Find different ways. Okay, so if having a storage is unaffordable at this point of time, what can you do otherwise for a much achievable amount of money? Okay, by spending a much achievable amount of money or piggybacking on
Prioritizing.
available resources and tools, or by prioritizing, how can you just move that two baby steps in front, okay, and go towards your goal? So that's what we have learned, right? Jugaad. That is what that I would say. If we can use that word jugaad, which seems to be coming up in the Indian startup eco space a lot, it is just about finding alternate ways of achieving your goal in a more efficient and economic manner. That's something that has been driving us, um, and also asking for help when required. Right? Um, we we know that we don't know a lot of things, right? And that I think is very empowering because now you know that you can ask for help.
Ask for it. Yeah.
And there are people who are always willing to help you, throw some light, put you on to the right people, and make sure that you get what you want, provided you're okay to ask. And we have got so many resources just by speaking to people about it and saying, okay, is there any way you can help us? And this has also been an exercise in ego for us.
Yeah.
So where we say,
I think
okay,
startups humble you.
yeah. So then you get off your high horse and say, okay, let's get cracking now. We don't know about this. We're going to learn.
Wonderful. So, you are now at what stage of the app building?
So we've already developed the app, and it's on Android Play Store. It
Okay.
is. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, as we speak, we are also developing the iOS, and we're going to be having an upgraded app, which is both on iOS and on Play
The
Store.
hybrid. Yeah.
Hybrid one. So
And how do people sign up when they, and is it monetized right now?
right now it's not. So we are at this point, as we said earlier, it's on traction. So we need to get as many users as possible. So people,
How many do you have so far?
so we have, without even announcing it to the world, or it just within our close group, we've just got around 200 is what we have
Wow.
at this point of time.
And
So we
people
don't,
have uploaded videos, and the
yes,
same person creates an account and they can upload.
yes.
Is there
Correct.
a quota on how many videos they upload?
No, no. You create your own user profile and you create as many videos as you want. You upload it. We check it in the back end because we need to make sure the right kind of content is uploaded. And we check for all kind of compliances and the duration of it. And then we upload it back, and then a notification goes back to the user saying that your video is uploaded. And then they can
People,
share it.
So it's a free app.
So free
You
app.
know.
people get guidance on how to create the video app also, I presume, right?
See, we do it.
So that from a standardization of a quality point of view, so that for someone who's watching,
Yeah.
it is a seamless experience with respect to editing, sound, background noise, all of those things, lighting, all that is also taken into account.
So we have a few tutorial videos, okay, which kind of inform the user or the content creator to put it in a certain way.
Okay.
So besides the tutorial, the only thing that we want right now is the duration of the videos to be at under 2 minutes, right? Because
And what is the average time it takes to share a recipe? Let's say, the research that you've done, how
Yeah.
long are these typical YouTube videos for cooking? Something
Um,
where a person is able to get ingredient and method and end dish. I presume all that gets covered in 2 minutes, right?
yeah,
yeah. As everything gets covered into 2 minutes. And what people do is, see, no matter how elaborate your recipe is, the video duration is 2 minutes. So, it's like this: when you're chopping an onion, you don't need to keep on showing that, that
the
part being
entire
chopped.
onion being
You
chopped.
can just show a bowl of chopped onions. So people get that. Plus, the other thing is that there's already a description, a title and a description where you can tell people, okay, take 3 onions, 4 onions, tomatoes, and chop it. That process is already there. But people otherwise understand that, and each one has their own way of the way they want to use the recipe to. Some people want to use less of a particular ingredient or more of it, depending on their taste. So it's pretty self-explanatory.
See, and it's like it's these videos are like asking a friend, okay, how to make a certain thing. Now your friend is not when you're going to ask a friend or your mom. Let's say mom is a better thing. You call your mom and say, okay, how do I make this? She's not going to say take 2.5 onions and chop it until it is 1 m, 3 mm by 3 mm. She's not going to give you those details. She's going to say chop the onion, take about two, shove it in. It has to be quick. So person who's actually even looking at the video, you're assuming that they understand that. And for someone like probably you and me who probably do go to the kitchen and we do understand it, we don't need too much of detail. You show me an onion that's being fried, I can understand that. Okay, onion
It
goes in
tells me
first,
where.
then a tomato or whatever. So it's more visual, and it is a quick visual that you get a immediate idea about how it's to be made. So if I'm going to be looking and scrolling my phone to see what all paneer recipes I can make for the next following day, I want quick videos which I can understand. I say, Acha, okay, these three types. Okay, maybe I will do a fourth type, which is a combination of three, right?
So
So
the app, what I wanted to understand is there was nothing in this 2 minute short video.
Yeah.
There was nothing for a community, so then you can interact with other people like you
Correct.
who are cooking a particular type of cuisine. And there was nothing for appreciation in with other people.
true.
Yes.
In
uh,
a
and
group.
so you're also helping make it easy for someone to upload. So in a sense, you're saying it's the ease of sharing,
Correct.
Correct.
even more easy than a Instagram reel, right?
Yeah. So here it
Yeah.
is in that space of cooking. If cooking, see for example, interested in dancing, you will go to a something that predominantly is about dance. If you're interested in singing, you will probably sing in Smule in the apps, right? Because that encourages you to sing. Similarly, for cooking, we want people to come to Salt because this is where the main cooking activity is happening. You might have your choices of different national and international digital platforms, but here is something that is meant for cooking.
For somebody who's someone who's, let's say, a visitor, and they are a user, they're not a content creator, there
Hmm.
is a search space for them to say, okay, North Indian baki dal. And so you also put in stuff there to
Correct.
make it easy for someone to
Yeah.
find
You
recipes.
have like 8 recipes of dal come out, one after the other.
Is there also a place for people to say, I love so and so's dal, and can she also have a shop where I can place an order for her and she can send it? Is that what you have already?
That's how we plan to
Scale
monetize
it.
monetize for the users, for the content creators. Okay, but at the moment, it is more going to be more about being able to showcase. It's starting with appreciation right now, but it will move on to monetization.
Yeah.
So that's
Where
where.
the appreciation that typically says, oh, Sonali is making it, then let me ask for Puran Police from Sonali. And then
Exactly.
Yes.
Sonali sends it across on Swiggy.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or see, even if Sonali, for example, were to say, okay, if this is how I make my Puran Polis, this is how clean my kitchen is, this is how tastily I can make it. What's happening on this number to place your orders?
And it starts with
Business.
Sonali's journey starts with first she creates a profile, uploads a video. She has her own channel page there, and then she starts getting appreciated through comments, through likes, through shares and stuff
Only
like
on
that.
what people have seen, but they've not yet tasted her food.
Yeah,
So is that something, because in one is I may want to learn to make it myself, but the other is I might actually, this probably is a platform for home chefs.
Yeah, you
absolutely.
can
Yeah, I can see you. I can
see the food you make.
see the food that you make. I can also taste the food that you make. Okay,
Or
and
I make,
I
someone makes Karnataka food, somebody makes Punjabi food, and they
yeah.
find a way to cook for each other.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
You can have online and I mean say offline cook-offs happening. People come together. Now we could ourselves create a little offline community of salt chefs. That's what we
Okay.
call each one of them. And everyone brings in their food. It's like a potluck that you have with your friends.
Beautiful. So there is the community that gets created, and you're typically looking at today people from all over the country. I mean, are you Mumbai focused right now? And then you not.
Anyone and everyone who's in the cooking space, who loves to cook, who wants to share their talent, this is it. We are not even, we are even gender agnostic, economic strata agnostic, everything. You have something to talk about food, you have something to express, come to Solve for Cooking
And we're available in over 120 countries. So it's
at
not
this
just
point
in
of time. Yeah.
so anyone,
So
any
brands getting interested already for endorsements, or say I use such and such brand of masala. Is that a plan also?
That is already happening. Even before we launched the app, there were brands who came to us from as far as even Chennai and sent us an entire hamper of the ready to cook products and said, take it, make it, and put up the videos. And this is done completely organically. It's not that we've gone and approached anything. They've just seen our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel was the big hero for the longest time. And from now, we're going to go to the next step and make our apps. So we started with that as our, a backend and our showcase, and that's already happening. So what we want to do is right now focus on users, get as many users as possible, more than focusing on the brands. If they come along,
brands will come
fantastic. Yeah, they will come.
when the users are in place, when there is enough traction, the brands will come, because here we are, offering the exact market for them. So they don't even have to kind of there's very less wastage when it comes to advertising or whatever. It's right there. Food enthusiasts of a certain category, of a certain cuisine, with certain products, be it in terms of food or tools or education or recruitment, whatever it is. You know, they have the target audience right there. Our job is to just aggregate
Bring them all
enough
together. Yeah.
so that they're all available on the platform. Once the nectar is there, the bees will come.
Amazing. So can't wait to see Salt's next phase of journey. And if you had to say your call for action, one thing that you want people who are watching to do, Chatty and Anu, what would that be?
Hashtag
Cook your fame.
cook your fame.
Lovely.
Cooking.
So that's what we are going to do. We are cooking our fame, and all the best for your
Thank you so
next
much.
journey. And I look forward to listening to where you go from here, and more power to you and what you do.
Thank you.
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody.